that may trigger some viewers, such as miscarriage, depression, and substance abuse. Viewer discretion is advised. My whole life, I called myself a Christian. Growing up, I was taught about God and sin, but never understood what salvation was. I went to church, sang his songs, but it was all religion to me. I also didn't have a relationship with him. And because I didn't have a relationship and I didn't understand what salvation was, I believed I was destined for hell. So I tended to numb myself with other sins. I wasn't happy, but I prayed and I prayed for change. And that's when I met him, my husband. Things got temporarily better until they didn't. We joined the military, got married, but things continued to fall apart because God wasn't our focal point. It got to the point where our relationship was reaching a critical point because we both were falling into sin. At some point, my husband decided to surrender our relationship to God. He began to read the Bible to me at night and pray, but I wasn't interested. But through repetition, I began to have questions of my own, specifically on salvation. And then I got the test, and everything changed. I wanted my child to have a relationship with God, even if I didn't. So I started to read on my own, and I created this channel. My life began to change, and that hole in my heart began to fill. Everything was perfect until I had a dream. I dreamt I was growing 2 trees. One was strong and beautiful, but the one I currently had was growing, but then it began to deform and break apart. I lost her that morning. My Naomi. I grew resentful of the Lord because all I prayed for was for a healthy child, a child I wanted to dedicate to him, but instead he took her away. I questioned him, I belittled him, I hated him. And then I got the call. She had a chromosome issue. It was so severe that even if she was born, she would have passed in a few hours, painfully, or I would have had a stillbirth. And instead of holding a grudge and resentment towards God for taking my daughter, I decided to thank him instead. God took her home before she was able to suffer. God spared me from experiencing the death of my daughter out of the womb. Over the weeks, I grew depressed, but I still prayed and prayed to have a baby. And the only thing that gave me peace was his word. And then I had a dream. I was told I was going to have a boy. A month later, I found out I was pregnant again. Turned out to be a healthy baby boy. I continued to read the Bible and pray from the heart. Over time, I gained the understanding that I was truly saved. Not because I read the Bible or prayed, but through Jesus. I called myself a Christian, but didn't have a relationship with him. I had a loss and gained a blessing. And through it all, I began to build a relationship with the Lord and learn to trust in him and build that foundation for my family to grow in.